The way AI is being marketed to you right now is deeply misleading, as AI doesn't actually understand a single word you're saying. A veteran New York lawyer with over 30 years of experience found this the hard way when he submitted fabricated legal cases to a federal court after ChatGPT invented them. But the AI wasn't broken, it was doing exactly what it was designed to do: generate a convincing answer whether it's true or not. I'm Raul. I've spent the last 3 years using AI professionally as a software developer and personally for my own projects. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you how AI actually works, where it fails, and how to use it without falling into the lawyer's trap. So, let's start with what AI actually is. This part is really important because it's the reason why the exact wording of your prompt can completely change the result. Whether you are using generative AI or an AI agent, the AI doesn't read or understand your words the way we humans do. Your prompt gets broken down into tiny chunks called tokens. A token can be anything from a word, a part of a word, or sometimes just a single character. And the way tokens are mapped depends on the AI model and version you are using, as we can see here with GPT-4 and GPT-5 AI models. Also, the language you use to prompt plays a massive role in the final outcome, but more on that a little later. Now, the entire job of an AI model after tokenizing the prompt is to predict what token comes next. And to do that, it has to calculate how each token relates to everything else. To achieve this, it has to map every single token into a mathematical space, or let's call it a giant map for better understanding. On this map, every word has its own location. Words that are related to each other, like coffee and tea, are placed close together, and words that have nothing in common, like cows and music, are placed far apart. But there is a catch, because the map doesn't just have 2 dimensions like any normal map would have, but rather hundreds, sometimes thousands. You see, each dimension captures a different relationship between the tokens, like meaning, grammar, tone, context, and many other I cannot even possibly think of. That's what allows the model to understand that bank means something different in riverbank and bank account. But please, don't mistake advanced token prediction for true human reasoning or intelligence. AI relies on rolling statistical probabilities to plot these words and guess the next tokens. So it can easily generate a perfectly confident, grammatically flawless answer that is completely wrong. And every AI model has a real limitation. It can look at an infinite amount of data, as there is a physical boundary called the context window. This dictates how many tokens the AI can hold in its memory at any one time. Your questions, the documents you uploaded, the conversation, and everything in that chat counts against the limit. So, if you have a long conversation and the AI seems to forget what you said earlier, it's because the earlier messages literally fell out the context window. It's better to use short, focused conversations, as they almost always beat one massive thread. Keep it easy and start fresh when the topic changes. Now that we know what AI is and how it works, the next logical step is to look at its limitations. Because even if AI feels amazing, there are critical areas where it will quietly fail you. Every AI model is trained on a massive static snapshot of the internet taken at a specific point in time, known as the training cutoff. It is essentially a digital time capsule, a date after which the AI model simply has no information. So, everything that has happened after that, the model doesn't know. And this is critical, because you ask it something and it doesn't tell you it doesn't know. It just answers anyway, just as confident as always. And for areas that change quickly, like cybersecurity, medical guidelines, and legal regulations, this becomes dangerous, because you're getting outdated guidance that harms you more than it helps. You can check the knowledge cutoff date of every major model yourself by asking the AI, what is your knowledge cutoff? The fact that AI always sounds unshakably confident is not actually a feature, but rather a massive structural flaw. Because an AI model's only true objective is to output a convincing answer, it will often hallucinate. It will literally make things up out of thin air just to satisfy the statistical requirement of your prompt. And sadly, this is not a bug someone forgot to fix. It's a fundamental and structural consequence of a machine that operates on pattern completion rather than fact retrieval. So yeah, the AI doesn't just invent the facts, but it also invents the proof, and this can fool even industry veterans with decades of experience. Remember that New York lawyer from the beginning of this video? His name is Steven A. Schwartz, and back in 2023 he used ChatGPT to conduct his legal research. He asked the AI to find legal precedents that would help him combat the airline's motion to dismiss, and ChatGPT delivered. Not one, but several cases with detailed legal codes, citations, and summaries. He submitted the fabricated cases to federal court, the judge found out and fined the attorney $5,000. This is not a lot of money for a New York lawyer, to be honest, but the real damage is his 30 years legal career being permanently stained by trusting ChatGPT. And if you are thinking, well, he just should have asked ChatGPT for sources. And he did, but the AI also fabricated the sources. And it's not just high-stakes legal cases, you've probably seen the simple failures go viral on social media, like counting the R's in strawberries, the drying shirts riddle, or the car wash dilemma. And while these examples are easy to explain as the AI doesn't count, compute, or use logic, but rather predict what the answer should look like, this is not all. A much bigger issue you need to remember is that AI reflects the internet. Its training data skews heavily towards English, Western, and male perspectives. If you ask it something culturally specific, regionally nuanced, or in a language other than English, the quality of the answer might drop fast. So, understanding what AI is, how it works, and what its limitations are is not enough. You also need to learn how to use it. And there is no way to speak about AI and not talk about prompting, because what you put in your prompt directly determines what you get out of it. Think about it this way. If you walk into a doctor's office and say, I don't feel well, you'll get a very generic diagnosis. But if you say, I'm 35, I've had a sharp pain behind my left eye for 3 days that gets worse in bright light, now the doctor has something to work with. And AI works exactly the same way. If you give it a short prompt, it will deliver you a generic answer. I will not go deep into prompting technique here, as I've already made a full video on it, which I linked in the comments. But the core idea is simple. The more context and clarity you give the AI, the better the output will be. So, before you send your prompt, ask yourself, have I given the model enough context to actually help me? And if not, do it. But remember, AI is friendly and will hardly criticize you. And it's not because it likes you, but because it was trained on human feedback. And humans prefer answers that validate them over answers that challenge them. AI tends to maximize human preference, which comes at the cost of sacrificing the truth for the appearance of helpfulness. This is called Sycophancy, and OpenAI had to roll back a GPT-4o model update in late April 2025 because of it. The model became so agreeable and focused on telling the user what they wanted to hear that it was no longer reliable. But there is something you can do about it, even if at first it sounds counterintuitive. Instead of asking the AI if your idea is good, you could ask it, what are the 3 biggest weaknesses in this? Or even, argue against this idea as hard as you can. What this does is force the AI to truly criticize your idea instead of just agreeing with it. There is one more important thing when prompting, but I have not encountered many people who know about it or actively think about it. And it's the language you use to prompt. A research comparing code performance across prompts in English and other languages found performance gaps of up to 30%, with non-English prompts constantly underperforming. My experience with AI coding correlates with the research, as the response I get from AI when prompted in English outperforms the German prompts. I cannot pin it down in numbers, but prompting in English often leads to a quicker solution. So, is it better to always prompt in English? I would say it depends. It depends on whether you feel comfortable enough with your English skills, the topic you prompt about, and also the expectations you have for the result. If your topic is globally related, like tech, coding, or science, and most of the research and information is present in English, go for it. But if you need local insight on something like the German Oktoberfest or a traditional carbonara recipe from Italy, prompting in German or Italian delivers better results. So, now you know what AI is, what it gets wrong, and how your prompt shapes the output. But the most important thing is how you handle the result. As users of AI, we have to always think critically. Before you even hit enter on a prompt, take a second to picture what a perfect answer actually looks like and what you expect to get out of your prompt. Then compare it to what AI delivers. Check the results, the sources, and ask yourself, does this actually make sense? Because you are responsible for what you do with the output, not the machine. And for that, you better make sure you understand the output before you use it. Also, there is one more thing most people don't think about until it's too late. When using ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or any other public AI tool, your conversations are stored and will be used for training future models. So, never paste anything into a public AI tool that you wouldn't want to become part of its training data. No client names, no internal financials, no passwords, and absolutely no confidential information. And if you use AI for work, do it through the enterprise plan your company provides, as that will be excluded from training data by default. Remember, you are in the driver's seat and are responsible for your actions. AI is just a co-pilot that provides you information, but you decide what to do with it. You verify it, you question it, and you are responsible for the outcome. Now, obviously, AI is evolving fast, and no single video can cover everything. But if you walked away understanding how AI actually works, where it fails, and how to think about the output, then that's already more than most people will ever learn. So go experiment, test what we covered, and if you discover something worth sharing, drop it in the comments, because I read them all. This is Tech That Clicks. I'm Raul, and I'll see you in the next one.